All right, let's kick off another deep dive. And get this. Today, we're going to be taking a trip through the career of Neymar
Yes.
Jr., the Brazilian football legend. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And, I know you're curious about how his journey has shaped the world of football.
Right.
So we've pulled an excerpt from his biography that unpacks all the juicy details.
Go now.
On and off the pitch, we're going to see it all.
It's interesting because when you look at his career, you see this constant push and pull between this raw talent that he has and this relentless ambition to achieve even more.
Right.
There's a depth there that goes way beyond just like the fancy footwork,
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
It all starts back in Brazil.
Okay.
1992.
Right.
This kid, Neymar, joins the Santos FC Youth Academy at just 11 years old.
Wow.
11?
That's young.
I mean, talk about starting early. By 17, he's playing pro.
Oh,
And
wow.
just a couple years later, he's crowned South American Footballer of the Year.
And that's not just some regional award either.
Right.
Like in 2011, Neymar becomes the only player outside of Europe to crack the top 10 for the Ballon d'Or.
Whoa.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, that's basically the Oscars of football, awarding the best player in the world
Right.
to be nominated at 19 with all those European superstars.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
It's crazy. And his success, I mean, it wasn't just a fluke or anything
Right.
with Santos. He led them to victory after victory, clinching titles like the Copa do Brazil and the Sao Paulo State Championship.
Right.
Then there's the Copa Libertadores.
Oh, yeah.
Think of it like the Champions League of South America.
Huge.
Massive deal. Winning that, it really solidified his place as a top player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He essentially conquered Brazil before even setting foot in Europe.
Yeah.
And then at just 19, he wins the Bola de Ouro, which is Brazil's top player award.
Crazy.
Imagine being so good at that age that you're considered the best player in a country that is known for its footballing talent.
I know, it's wild.
Wild.
But that domestic success, that was just the beginning. Neymar had his sights set on Europe.
Okay, so.
In 2013, he makes a huge move to FC Barcelona in Spain. A deal so big, it made headlines worldwide.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like everybody was talking about it.
Big money.
Big money.
Yeah.
And he doesn't disappoint either.
No.
Just a couple of years later, in 2015, alongside Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez,
Right.
they form one of the most lethal attacking trios in football history.
Oh, yeah.
Together, they achieved the legendary treble,
Wow.
winning La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Champions League,
Right.
all in one season.
All in one.
Now, that's what you call legendary status.
Yeah.
And we haven't even touched on his international career with Brazil yet.
Oh, right.
It's almost like he was destined to lead,
Right.
At just 19, he captains the team to victory at the U20 South American Championship.
Then you have the Olympics.
Oh.
Silver medal in 2012. Talk about heartbreak.
Brutal.
Brutal. But he comes back stronger in 2016, scoring the winning penalty kick to bring home the gold.
Wow.
And remember, this is the same guy who holds the record for the fastest goal in Olympic history.
Wait, really? How fast are we talking?
14 seconds.
What?
14 seconds from kickoff to the back of the net.
Are you serious?
It's a record that's pretty much untouchable.
Wow, pure instinct.
Yeah.
And then there's that Confederations Cup victory in 2013 where Brazil beat Spain, the reigning world champions at the time.
The champs.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's amazing how much he achieved so early in his career.
It really is. But of course, every career has its ups and downs.
Right.
For Neymar, the World Cup has been a mixed bag.
Okay.
There was the devastating injury in 2014 that forced him out of the tournament on home soil.
Oh, yeah.
Then came those quarterfinal exits in 2018 and 2022.
It makes you wonder what could have been.
Yeah.
Especially in 2014, that was rough.
Tough one.
Even with those World Cup setbacks, though,
Yeah.
he managed to become Brazil's all-time leading scorer,
Wow.
overtaking Pelé himself.
Right.
That's got to be a special feeling.
It is a monumental achievement, no doubt.
Yeah.
But then in 2017, something happens that really shakes up the football world.
You're talking about the record-breaking 222 million euro transfer to Paris Saint-Germain.
Right.
More than double the previous transfer record.
More than double.
Crazy.
That kind of money, it throws open the doors to a whole new era in football. It signaled this level of spending power that we hadn't really seen before. And then from a sporting perspective, it raised questions about inflated player values and whether it created an uneven playing field for other clubs.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, it was a move that sparked a lot of debate, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Some praised it as a bold statement of ambition,
Right.
while others, they saw it as a sign that money was becoming too influential in the sport.
For sure.
Which, I mean, who knows?
Right. It's hard to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly shifted the landscape, though.
Yeah.
But alongside all the financial talk and everything, it's important to remember Neymar's impact off the field as well.
Right.
Like he's become an ambassador for Handicap International, using his platform to advocate for people with disabilities.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It shows a side of him we don't always see in the headlines,
Yeah, for sure.
And now we have this fascinating full circle moment.
Right.
His return to Santos in 2025, back to where it all began.
Right.
It's like a homecoming,
Yeah, after 6 seasons with PSG, it does make you wonder about his motivations.
I know.
Like, is it a desire to reconnect with his roots, to give back to the club that nurtured him?
Maybe he's looking to rewrite his narrative, to shift the focus back to his love of the game and his Brazilian heritage. It's almost like he's starting a new chapter, but with the wisdom and experience gained from his time abroad.
That's a great point. This move could be a way for him to, redefine his legacy.
Yeah.
It begs the question, what will people remember most about Neymar Jr.? Will it be the dazzling skills and those jaw-dropping goals that made him a global icon?
He's definitely one of those players who can make you jump out of your seat screaming at the TV. I mean,
oh, yeah.
The man's got flair. But his impact goes beyond just entertainment, though, right? He's played a huge role in popularizing Brazilian football on a global scale.
Yeah, you're right. His style of play, his charisma, even just his personality.
Yeah.
It's all contributed to making him a cultural phenomenon, really.
Totally.
And let's not forget his achievements like domestic titles, continental glory, Olympic gold, and becoming Brazil's all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a remarkable career by any standard.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
But like you said earlier, every story has its complexities.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of criticism throughout his career as well. Accusations of diving, of being overly theatrical, even of prioritizing individual brilliance over the team's success,
Right, that's the other side of the coin, right. Some argue that his style can be provocative, especially to opponents.
Right.
And that record-breaking transfer to PSG, while it was groundbreaking, it did raise questions about whether his motivations were purely sporting or not.
Yeah, it's true that the money involved in that transfer overshadowed the football itself for a while. And then there are the World Cup disappointments, that injury in 2014.
Oh, yeah.
Right before Brazil's home World Cup.
Right.
Must have been incredibly tough to deal with.
Yeah.
And the quarterfinal exits in 2018 and 2022.
Right.
Those definitely left a mark.
Those moments will inevitably be part of his story.
Right.
It makes his return to Santos all the more intriguing.
Yeah.
He's still relatively young in football terms.
Right.
And he's clearly got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah.
So the question is, what does he want to achieve in this next chapter?
Right. Is it about silencing the critics, proving he can still dominate at the highest level? Or is there something deeper driving him,
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like we're watching a legend in the making, figuring out the next act,
Right.
What's fascinating to me is how his career almost mirrors the evolution of football itself.
Right.
You've got these massive transfer fees, the global branding, the constant social media presence. Neymar's been right at the center of that shift.
It's true. He embodies the modern footballer in so many ways.
Yeah.
And that raises some interesting questions about the sport itself, right?
Totally.
Where's the balance between pure athletic talent and commercial interests?
Yeah.
What kind of pressures do these young athletes face in such a public arena?
For sure.
It's a lot to unpack.
It really is. And as his story continues, I'm curious to see how Neymar uses his influence.
Yeah.
Will he be a voice for change within the sport, a mentor to younger players coming up? Yeah. Or will he keep pushing the boundaries, redefining what it means to be a football superstar?
Those are the big questions, aren't they? And I think that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. We've explored his incredible journey from those early days in Brazil to conquering Europe and becoming this global icon. But the story's not over yet.
Exactly. And as you continue to follow his career, think about the bigger themes we've touched on today.
Right.
What does Neymar's story tell us about the power of raw talent, the allure of fame, and that constant drive to be the best?
And maybe the biggest question of all, how will Neymar Jr. be remembered in the grand history of football? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We will indeed. This has been a wild ride, hasn't it? It's amazing how much ground we've covered, from those early victories in Brazil to the ups and downs of his international career, all the way to this exciting new chapter back at Santos.
It just goes to show there's always more to discover, even with someone as well known as Neymar.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of a good deep dive, isn't it? You never know what you'll uncover.